Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we will have Unit 14, Lesson 2, Schools Around the World. We will have grammar, about obligation and lack of obligation. We will have obligation, lack of obligation, and the form of question with obligation. First of all, we will have obligation. What is obligation? Obligation means to talk about rules and things that are necessary, things that are important to do. Form of obligation. We have I, we, you, they, plus have to, plus verb infinitive. Do you know what I mean by verb infinitive? مصدر الفعل. Or he, she, it plus has to plus verb infinitive. Look at these examples. We have to go to school 5 days a week. Look at we, so we use have to and the verb infinitive go. We have to go to school 5 days a week. It is important to go to school 5 days a week, so we use obligation have to. He has to go to school on time. It is necessary to go to school on time, so we have the subject he and we use has to and the verb infinitive go. Okay, this is obligation. Now we will have lack of obligation. We use the negative form to talk about things that are not necessary. Things that are not necessary to do. The form I, we, you, they, plus don't have to, plus verb infinitive. Or he, she, it plus doesn't have to plus verb infinitive. So we have don't have to and doesn't have to. For examples, we don't have to go to school on Saturday. We have the subject we use don't have to plus verb infinitive go. He isn't late, so he doesn't have to. He, the subject, and doesn't have to, use doesn't with he, plus verb infinitive hurry. Okay, now we will have the third part. About yes or no question with obligation. Yes or no question with obligation. The form do or does. Use do or does. According to the subject, use do or does. Do or does plus subject plus have to plus verb infinitive. For example, do you have to get up at 7 o'clock? Do, we use do. The subject is you. And have to plus verb infinitive get up at 7 o'clock. The answer with yes, yes I do. With no, no I don't. Okay? Another answer. Another example. Does she have to eat breakfast? Does she have to eat breakfast? Does with the subject. She have to eat breakfast. Yes, she does. Or no, she doesn't. Okay? So the form with yes or no question is do or does plus subject plus have to plus verb infinitive. Okay? Now we will return to the last part. Questions using a question word. Do you know question word? What? Why? When? For example, when do we have to finish our homework? So we use when. After that we use do, the subject we, and have to plus verb infinitive finish. Another example. Why does she have to go now? We use why. After that we use does because we have she. She with does. Have to plus verb infinitive go now. Okay? Now we will have some exercises about obligation and lack of obligation. Now we will have some exercises about obligation and lack of obligation. The first, we have read and correct the underlined words. What do Sama have to do at lunchtime? What do Sama have to do at lunchtime? We have the subject Sama. Sama. So we use do. It is wrong. We will use does. Does. So what does Sama have to do at lunchtime? Number 2, children have to wear their uniforms after school. Children have to wear their uniforms after school. After school. So this is lack of obligation. So we will say children don't have to wear their uniforms after school. Okay? Now we will have the second question. Answer these questions using obligation or lack of obligation. So, what do you have to do before you go to school? What do you have to do before you go to school? For example, I have to eat my breakfast. Okay? Number 2, what do you have to do after school? After school. I have to study my lessons. I have to do my homework. Okay? Now, what don't you have to do at the weekend? Don't you have to do? So we have lack of obligation. What don't you have to do at the weekend? I don't have to study my lessons. I don't have to play football. I don't have to go to school. Okay?